ciao, benvenuti, and welcome to another episode of Live at 5 with Louise in the Dimmy DePew kitchen. And y'all have been asking for the dessert, so tonight it's dessert. It's going to be a little dolce. It's called Torta della Nonna, which basically is grandma cake. This recipe comes to us from Simonetta, my friend Simonetta, who lives just outside of Siena. She's also the one I got the recipe for tiramisu, which is amazing. So I think that was it. Yeah, we're just going to jump right in because this requires several steps. So we're going to start with making the custard. And to do that, let me switch this up a little bit so you can see the stove behind me. We're going to start with 700 milliliters of milk. So I love this measuring by using grams and the weight instead of measuring the liquid. Okay, so that's just a cup. You need more than that. So we're going to start off with 700 milliliters.
Hannah's on the line and she says, yum.
Yeah, I know. Everybody wants dessert. There we go. So 700 milk is going to get infused with a little lemon flavor. So in order to do that, I'm going to, okay, that's going to start in there. Put that in a little pot. So I'm just going to peel off the lemon, the outer edge of the lemon skin. So avoid getting like that white bitter pith thing. So can you see this? There we go. Look at that. How awesome is that? I love this. And so we're going to just drop that into the milk. And here's another one. No, you know what? I think this is a regular lemon now that I think about it.
I saw the dimples and I wondered.
Good. That's a good one. Julie just said she saw the dimples. That's true. Regular lemons will have dimples in their skin, and Meyer lemons have a smoother skin. It's kind of interesting. So I do find Meyer lemons in the grocery store, so you can find them anywhere. But I think I'm using a regular lemon here because the fragrance. So this all goes into, and give it a, we're going to stir a little bit. I'm going to turn it on about medium. We're going to bring the milk to almost a boil. One technique is just crack open the egg and let the white drain out. I like to put the yolk in my hand because it's easier to get the white to separate from the yolk. And then if I break the yolk, I quick like move it out of the way. So the recipe calls for 5 yolks, but having been in Italy, and I know that their eggs are bigger than the eggs that we have available at the grocery store. So I'm going to probably use 6 yolks because they're smaller than how they show up in Italy. So here we have the yolks in the pan, and now I'm going to add 90 grams of sugar. What I do is just begin to whip the heck out of the yolks and the sugar. So whip, 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 because lumps are not cool. So take a look. It's all smooth. So I'm using 00 flour, which is what the Italians use for cakes and pastries and pizza dough, actually. And so the difference between all-purpose flour and 00 is all-purpose flour, which is so readily available in the U.S., is made with red wheat, and so there's more gluten and it's more elastic than the 00, which is made of durum wheat. It also has a different texture, just like feeling when I'm like rolling out the dough and using the floured surface. It's finer. It almost feels like, now we can see the start of our custard here. So it's just the egg yolk, sugar, and flour. That's it. So 00, I ordered online. Some grocery stores will carry it. So Now we're just waiting on the milk. Now we're just waiting on the milk. We will slowly add the milk to this custard base, this egg. And if you haven't done much with raw eggs in adding hot liquid, that needs to be done carefully and slowly, so that if I went and just dumped all the milk into this egg mixture, it would have a tendency to cook the egg, and then you get lumps that don't go away because you have chunks of cooked egg. So we will, I'll show you how to add that slowly. So that's what it looks like. I don't know if you can tell that there's bubbles forming at the edge of the pan, and also I can see how the lemon rind is not break from the hot milk. There we go. That's it.
Nice.
Ooh.
Done.
Oh, it smells so good. So start stirring and just ever so slowly add just a little bit of milk. Stirring, and now I'm going to take it over to, the butter goes in last.
Okay, thank you.
Something happened, like I think she cooked like the eggs or something broke, and we had to start all over, which we did. Then it needs to chill. So there we go. Yeah, it's kind of like pudding thick. Well, custard. I mean, that's what we're going for. It's a custard. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put this in. I'm going to do this, and that is cover it with plastic immediately, so that the it's like, even though torta is the word for cake in Italian, their cakes are a lot like the way we do cake, with, you know, all those layers. And so just firmly press the plastic wrap on top of the custard, and there we go. And I'm going to pop this. I'm going to get the dough out. So I started this earlier, mostly because it needed to be in the fridge for at least an hour. So I wanted to be able to show you how I'm going to roll this out and what to do with it. To make this dough, I'm going to call it a dough. Oh, good thing we're on Facebook Live. Otherwise, I'd be like getting my tongue out and be licking this pot. It's so, I'm like, Oh my gosh, this is so good. Okay, back 400 grams of 00 flour is what I use. You could use all-purpose. The texture is going to be a little different. It'll be a little chewier with all-purpose flour, and with the 00, it's not quite as chewy. And it got 160 grams of butter, and then 175 grams of sugar, which I will post this recipe on my website, dimidpu.com. Check it out. Sign up for the newsletter, and then you get notifications about when a new post of a recipe, when I'm going live on Facebook, and I'll just send you love letters. And then this dough, also 1 whole egg, and then 2 additional egg yolks went in there, and then the rind of 1 whole lemon. So the bottom part of our cake is going to get 2/3 of this dough, and so that because I'm a little compulsive sometimes, well, a lot of times, I want to make sure that I can eyeball this. So I'm going to turn on the scale and measure that I have. Oh, look at that. 890 grams. That is so interesting. Oh, yes. That's 287. I'm going to give it another little chunk. There we go. So this is going to be our top crust container for that gorgeous custard we made. Can you move that down, please? Mm-hmm. So there we go. So I'm going to sprinkle a little flour. I have my stagehand here helping with my props. So,
I swear to comment on what a cool board that is.
Yes, I love this board. I'm in love with this thing. So in Italian, it's called spiana olla. No, spiana olla. So anyway, the Italians turn everything into some beautiful thing. It's a pasta board, bread board. So I'm gonna put a little flour on there and then move that around because the last thing we want is to have this stick. So what's interesting, I find this interesting. This dough, it kind of like looks like pie dough, but acts more like how to make this dough. One of the things the Italians use is it's called lievito con vanilla. Basically, it's baking powder pre-packaged with dried vanilla inside the baking powder. And so you just use either one packet or half a packet of this. This is genius. This I buy online as well as I can find it at the Italian. So earlier I made this cake because this Facebook Live, I didn't think any of you wanted to stay on for 3 hours while this baked and cooled and did all its stuff. So this is it. I think that's big enough. Yeah. So let's see if we can get this into our pan without sticking and ripping. Because that's not cool.
No sticking, no ripping.
Yeah, there we go. All right. And voila.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, oops. I wanted to put parchment paper down first, but I forgot. So we're just gonna wing it here. And I'm gonna trim off a little bit and none of it's going to waste. We're just gonna smash it in the bottom.
Yeah.
Make it nice and thick because this tastes so good. There's that. And then trim a little more. And oops, that's a little thin there. So let's take a piece and kind of just fix that. So if any of you have ever made pies, it's kind of like what you do with a pie. You take the extra dough if need be.
Online profile.
Raw dough?
Raw dough, yeah. That's how much I love it.
Way to go. That's how much I love it too. I'd be on your raw dough profile. Yeah, raw dough!
What's raw dough going to say next?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm going to keep those pieces out. I might need them for something. So if the custard the topping gets some pine nuts, pinoli, but before you put these on the top, soak them in water for like 10 minutes and then drain the water off. And then when you put the pinoli, the pine nuts, on top of the dough and bake it, they don't burn. This is what it looks like when it's finished. Oh, here, look, I'll show the pretty side. So here's the Torta della Nonna after it's been baked. And we're going to cut into this right now because I know, it's like, we're going to eat this right now. I have been smelling this evil thing, but it'll work.
It totally will.
Like, we're winging it. This is what we do in the DMDPU kitchen. When your utensils are dirty, you just wing it. So I'm going to put a little powdered sugar in my tea fuser leaf thingy, and then just knock. Can you see? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so can you see what it looks like now? Oh, look! Okay, we're going to slice into this little beauty. And there we go. I'm going to serve up for, oh wait, you guys, here, I'm going to show you what it looks like. So there's the layer of the crust, the custard, more crust, and then a little of the pinoli on the top with powdered sugar. There we go. I'm thinking that custard could have cooled a little more. So, bon appetito! But don't you want the verdict? Let's check it out. Oh my God. Oh my God. So the custard is smooth with a little hint of lemon.
It's so good. I don't want to swallow it. I just want to keep it on my tongue.
And then there's the flavor of the lemon is a little stronger in the crust, which is actually really nice because the vanilla or the custard is pretty much vanilla with just a little lemon. Oh my gosh. And this, it doesn't quite have the texture of, it's like more like the texture of almost like a pound cake, maybe a little sturdier than a pound cake would be, softer than a cookie, but certainly not as soft as like a layer cake. Anyway, that's the texture. Buon appetito. Next week is Halloween. No Facebook Live, because I think we're going to have little Halloween trick-or-treaters at the door.
The doorbell's going to be going off.
The doorbell's going to be going off. So enjoy. If you guys make this, please post photos and tag Demi Depew. And then for the recipe with some photos of the steps along the way, check out my website, demidepew.com. Ciao for now.